I think it's hard to figure starting points when, like, with particularly with life in general. It's all keeps weaving itself, you know, around a
Yeah.
giant knot.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So let's just mess with this. Sound good?
Sounds good. Hold on, I might have to burp. Please don't record. You are already recording. Yay!
Oh my God, what just happened to my screen?
That was it. It did it right as I burped too, and you did that. Oh, that's so cool.
Oh goodness.
Ah, is that your camera that you
No, this is Apple. This is Mac.
have?
Yeah.
That is bizarre.
So now I have to be like super careful because I do this all the time. All right, all right, all right, all right, for real. Hey everyone, today we are here with Christina Brookman, who is the podcaster from Speaking in Spoons, a podcast for chronically ill people. And Christina, you are going through your own chronically ill story. Why don't you kind of start with that? Like, tell us what's going
Sure.
on with you?
What is it? It feels like that sometimes. I think when you have a chronic illness, it's always kind of like, um, but uh, I've always struggled with being sick. And then it just progressed. I wasn't diagnosed. Was diagnosed with fibromyalgia as a teen. And then later, I have Ehlers-Danlos, which is a connective tissue disorder. And I have POTS, which is postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. Basically, it just means that my autonomic system is kind of on crack. So, like, when I change
Basically, and
position,
on crack are rarely in the same sentence.
haven't talked to me enough yet but yeah, like when you stand up or you like go to lay down or you just change positions, your blood pressure will drop or your heart rate raises. Sometimes your blood pressure will go high. It's just, and my that's why my pupils are so big, or anything that your autonomic system controls, like sweating, temperature regulation, your GI, like all that kind of stuff is encompassed.
Hmm.
um, I also have Sjogren's, and I have these rare kind of migraines. The doctor, it's hemiplegic migraine.
Okay.
Um, Although the doctor's thinking it may be mum's, but they're very similar, where it looks like a stroke. So like the right side of my face will droop, my eye will droop to the point of shutting, and like I'll drop fall to the ground because I'll go
Oh shit.
paralyzed on the right side. Yeah. I'm doing better with that, so I'm not drop falling as much. Um, but I have a residual weakness on my right side, so I've got like a funny leg that goes wonky. And I call it my sexy face when I get like all drooly. But when it first started happening, it was really, it's scary. Yeah, I'm like, "Ugh." But it's scary, and it's scary to
Yeah.
those kind of around you. But I've always been someone, I have to find ways to laugh through it, because otherwise
Hmm.
it's too much. Because yeah, it's like I'm trapped in my body, and that's
Yeah.
a lot. I have incontinence, and they're looking at some rare autoimmune liver diseases. So I'm in the process of looking at that and get some it we're always just figuring out the next thing, I guess, one day at a time.
Okay. So what is it like going through your whole life, just sort of adding these new like labels or definitions? Like, is it a relief to have some sort of answers like that? Or is it exhausting? Is it part of what makes you laugh?
It's all of the above.
Okay.
I think a lot of people, like doctors, can be scared to give labels, and
Mm,
I know people are, parents get scared of labels with their kids, but for me, when there's all that searching, it can be validation,
yeah.
that it wasn't in my head, that it was, it was real. Because I get convulsions with my migraines, and I was told it was pseudo seizures at first, like it was psychological based, and it wasn't.
No, what are pseudo seizures? What, like you just decided to have a seizure because it's psychological based?
Exactly, right. But
Wait, what?
yeah, they'll say, well, and they'll say like old terms like conversion disorder and things like that. I genuinely feel when these labels are given out, it's because the doctors just don't know the answer and
Mm,
they're uncomfortable saying that. But stress can induce things. And that's essentially what they're saying, is that your body is reacting to stress. But and it's having a physical manifestation. However, like with me, it was a migraine, and my POTS doctor actually thought it was the POTS that was so it was like a physiological thing, like migraines, that was triggering it. So it's yeah, there's a lot of people with disorders like this that get told it's in their head. It's a pseudo seizure, it's conversion disorder. You'll see that a lot on in forums, and usually women,
mm,
because a lot of these disorders affect women and they're less researched. They're less, the money isn't put into those areas. And so I
mm.
think doctors just don't know. And when they're not seeing a result on, a scan for your brain, they're like, well, nothing's happening. It's not physiological. But the minute they gave me, because I remember I was in the ER completely frozen, but I could hear the doctors, and I heard them telling my parents, she's having a migraine. And I thought the doctor was crazy, because I was like, there's no way this is a migraine. Migraines don't make you like
Frozen and unable
yeah,
to
frozen and
communicate, right?
paralyzed. Yeah. I was like, this person just has no idea what they're talking about. And they're like, well, I'm going to give her a migraine cocktail. And within, about 15-30 minutes, she should be able to start talking and walking again. And they were right. And I was shocked. Now, the problem is for me, it didn't last. And that's been the struggle, is finding a medicine regimen where I'm stabilized, because I'm better than I was, but I'm still not stabilized.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Um, when we first spoke, you talked about being the queen of misdiagnosed, and this seems like a really important switching point for you, like going from pseudo seizures to no, these are freaking migraines. Was there any other
Yeah.
stories that was just like, this was misdiagnosed for so long?
Yeah. My neck. Um uh I um I had a C1 C2 fusion
Mhm.
about 12 years ago.
Okay. And
And
just
the
in case
doctor,
anyone doesn't know, that's like way up at the top. And what does that do to and for your body?
it was for stabilization. He
Mhm.
said it was because of my hypermobility. And
Okay.
he said I've had neck pain my whole life, and it just increasingly got worse. Like, and I was told I was arthritic in early college in my neck. Um, and then when I got diagnosed with the connective tissue disorder, they said, well, the hypermobility and the instability in your neck, that's a part of that. And he sent me to a jaw specialist because they thought
Mm.
maybe treating my messed up jaw would fix that, but it didn't. And they said it's time to see the next surgeon. Um, and I was told this was the guy to go to. There was only two surgeons in the country that would do this surgery, particularly on people with my disorder. And he told me that my neck was so unstable that if I got in a car accident, I would get an internal decapitation, which was terrifying, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're like in the grocery and you knock carts with somebody
yeah.
and
No
sorry,
more
that's
go-kart
like
racing.
awful.
No, I literally thought my head would pop off. Um,
Wow.
which is not like you can get an internal decapitation with your head popping off, but that's what I saw in my head. And I was 28, and I had really internationally recognized reputable doctors recommending him.
Yeah.
So I I signed up for the surgery. I did the fusion. Um, I was in a lot of pain. I ended up having to quit my job within like the next year. It had been
Mm.
building to that, but I
After
had
the surgery.
after the surgery, yeah. And I now we're going into a whole rabbit hole. So many things happened, but basically for I ended up in another state because my husband left me in another state, and which I'm sure we're going to get to,
Mm,
but
yeah.
yeah, but I tried for a long time. I kept saying my neck is hurting, my neck is hurting. People always want to refer you back to the original surgeon, but I was like, but he's in Ohio, I can't. Can somebody please look at my neck? And they're like, well, your MRI looks fine, it's just muscle skeletal. For years they would do this, um and I ended up in the ER. It's just muscle skeletal. And it got to the point I had gone back to grad school to be a social worker. I had to drop out because the pain was so excruciating. I
Wow.
couldn't talk, like I couldn't function. And I finally got somebody to run a CT. I had loose screws in my neck. Um, yeah. And which can be a normal complication of surgery. However, it turns out, like, I finally found someone that was willing to remove all the hardware. When he did remove all the hardware, there were six loose screws, not just two,
Wow.
six. And two were so loose, they were moving around. Like he said, he could pull them out with his hand. They were so loose. And that's right next to my vertebrae, like so I'm so grateful we got them out of there. He also said that while I have the hypermobility, my skull, I have a congenital malformation where my skull is fused to the first vertebrae. He's like, so you weren't going to get an internal decapitation, Christina.
Oh my
And
goodness. Come
so
on. Right?
come
Like,
to
can't you
find
see that
out,
even on an X-ray?
yeah, exactly. Nobody had told me this.
Wow.
And this surgeon, the original surgeon, is wanted by the FBI for medical fraud, medical malpractice, Medicare fraud, Medicaid practice. He's fled the country to Pakistan. Apparently, he was telling everybody that they would get an internal decay. He told everybody the same story,
No. Oh,
just taking
wow.
advantage of vulnerable people in pain.
Wow. So
And
it's
what
not like accidental incompetence, like, oh, you have a fusion with your skull and C1, we're gonna do this surgery because it's unnecessary. It was like an intentional thing he was doing to a ton of people.
to make money.
And he
Yeah.
was
I had
one
my
of
own Dr.
two that were
Death.
amazing.
Yeah.
What's that?
And he
Dr.
lied to
Death?
the board. Dr.
Wow.
Death, the podcast series?
That's him? That's your
No,
doctor.
but he
Damn.
should be. I
Wow.
know, right?
Wow.
That's what I say. I had my own Dr. Death. He lied to the medical board of his state about his credentials, his training. Um,
Wow.
it's just, and that's doctors are very quick to defend each other. I think they're scared
Mm.
of lawsuits and things like that. But your patient is there, you need to listen. And that's what I've struggled with, is having people truly listen, because um they don't want to look at somebody else's mess. They don't want to touch it because they could get it in for a lawsuit. I'm like, literally cannot go back to the original surgeon. He's in Pakistan. Not that I would want to, but for years, just being told it's musculoskeletal, which is total
Yeah.
crap. Of
Yeah.
course I had musculoskeletal pain because I had six loose screws flying around in my neck, bonking around and hitting shit. So yeah.
Wow. Wow. Uh, just for contrast, can you think of a time when a doctor actually listened to you and you actually felt heard and human and connected, and just describe that?
Oh yeah. I do have some great doctors too. And that's because there are people who go into it for the right reason. And my current neurologist, I love. Um he like he actually I've been trying to get into a clinic at the same hospital for 3 years, and they still hadn't been calling me. And he actually apologized. He said, you know, this was, I don't know why you slipped through the cracks. These people should have taken care of this. And he helped me get in.
Wow.
And it's very rare to hear a doctor say, I'm sorry. Um, and and also he apologized later for something that he had misunderstood and something that I had. He said, no, that was my fault. And I'm just not used to hearing that. And that he's got a lot of hubris, um and he'll just listen. And um and he'll give me information too. That's what I love. I'll say, hey, I'd really like to look this up, but I want to make sure that I'm reading, good articles. Could you send me a few, because I'm having a hard time finding something? And he'll send me a message with, here's the stuff to look at.
Wow.
And I feel like that also makes me feel like I can really trust him.
Wow.
um and
Yeah.
then I have another doctor who cracks me up because he's always asked me if I have a boyfriend yet every time I go in. Um, and he yelled at me once because I brought the wrong purse, because he likes this one purse that I have that he thinks is really cool.
What a
But I was like,
jokester.
that purse broke. So, you know,
Yeah.
but he's a trip.
Fun. Can you go back to the word hubris? Because I thought that meant like overconfident. What did you mean in that context of the
Oh,
last
then I'm
doctor?
probably completely misunderstanding it. I thought it meant ability to be humble.
Oh, interesting. Well, I'll have to look it up. Because yeah, that's like the opposite. I'm like, did she mean
Yeah.
humorous? Wait a minute, because this guy doesn't sound overconfident or like a
No,
jerk.
not overconfident at
Yeah.
all. Like, he has a good confidence, but
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Awesome. Wow. So, at this point in my career, I have quite a few clients that um just feel jerked around by the medical system. Um, do you have any advice on how to navigate um, getting into some of these studies, getting someone to actually listen? Um, yeah, well, how have you had any successes in
Um,
that?
uh, First of all, they're not alone. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
I think that's a big thing that gives me solace, though, is realizing I'm not alone too. And in that, I also I do a lot of research before I see a doctor. So I look at credentials, and I look at where they went to school, where they did their residency, their fellowship, what those places specialized in. So what kind of training and patients they would have been seeing. I tend to really avoid doctors who only went to the same school, because for me, they tend to be more pigeonholed in their thinking because
Oh,
they've
you mean for
only,
like degree to degree?
yeah,
Okay.
degree, like they, because all their experiences in one place with the same doctors, the same training, the same way of thought. And I think that's very limiting. So, for I prefer doctors, and I seek out doctors that have had a variety of experiences,
Mhm.
even if that means I have to travel. And I'm
Wow.
willing to travel. The best doctors I have seen have been honestly when I have traveled, because I'm going to someone for their expertise. And that
Mhm.
doesn't necessarily mean they're in my hometown. I also
Mhm.
start looking at it as this is a service industry, and the service is my body and my health. And we can grow up being taught to, be seen and not heard and not question authority and things like that. And so we view doctors as authority, as godlike in a way, as all knowing, but they're not. They're human.
Mhm.
And they can't possibly know everything. So my biggest advice is to go in with the confidence of knowing you are actually the expert of your own body, not the doctor. Like, you live with yourself 24/7. You know yourself more than anybody else. So
Mhm.
take notes, go in with that, to make that easier for them, to help you communicate with them. But also, if they're not willing to listen to you and to communicate with you, they're not the right doctor for you. Just move on, just like you would in a store with a dress that doesn't look good or something like that. Just because it's the great brand, it doesn't mean it's the right for you, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting, like for things like neurodiversity,
Yeah,
I was explaining to someone like, hey, there's a whole bunch of new research out there. Like, I want to go to someone that is definitely up on the latest research. And I know other people have had responses like this. This isn't the first time I've heard this argument, but it was like, well, aren't you just looking for someone to say, yes, you have this? Like, just searching for what you want, right? I'm like, well, wow, no.
like
uh,
doctor shopping.
yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
use that term a lot.
like
Yeah,
I want this diagnosis, and then for whatever reason, whoop, there we go with the thumb.
Apple
It's
agrees.
back. um, yeah, like have you ever had that experience where
I
they're like,
hear
oh,
that
you're
with
doctor
other
shopping?
Yeah, no, I hear that a lot with other people. I haven't had it with me, but um I think because I don't necessarily want the diagnoses. Um like, it's like, why would people want these diagnoses all the time? You just want answers. You're just
Yeah.
trying to find answers. And so, like, what I have done is, if I think something, like, with the connective tissue disorder, when I was thinking I might should I talk to a geneticist?
Mhm.
And I was looking it up. So I called the national organization, and I spoke to one of their advocates, and we talked about my symptoms. She said, obviously we can't diagnose you, but this sounds like something that could be in that realm and worth talking to a geneticist about. So
Mm.
I felt validated to then go to that doctor. So
Yeah.
that's kind of how I treat it. Like, I try to um really do my homework and call organizations, talk to other people, but not try to tunnel vision myself as well, if that
Mhm.
makes sense. Leave it like my new thing that we're going through with my autoimmune liver disorder. My way, I try looked for the best doctor I could in my state, you know and if I have to, I'll go out. But so far I like him. He's really like, at first he looked at my stuff and he's like, oh, you absolutely have this rare thing. And then he's like, oh
Wow.
wait, some of your other stuff isn't quite as consistent, so we're going to need to do a liver biopsy. But that also made me feel validated that I wasn't crazy to think I could possibly have this. You
Right.
know,
Like,
like,
oh, you have a rare disorder. No, you don't. It's rare. Shut
yeah,
up. Yeah.
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 But he's gonna do a whole bunch of testing, and that makes me feel good. It's something is going on. So I just try to talk with my doctors. I don't
Yeah.
if I don't try to but I will stand up for them. If they're like, I don't think they should be mean to me or talk to me inappropriately. There's also a professionalism and bedside manner that I think they should uphold as well.
Mhm.
So I don't feel opposed to standing up for myself. Um
Yeah. Wow. In general, people can experience so much like exhaustion or like identity sort of uh shame doing some of these things that you're talking about. Like, I think it's rooted in this, uh, and I'm talking off the top of my head, but
yeah,
it's like I shouldn't be sick, right? Or something is wrong with me as a person. And so
yeah,
I'm imagining someone needing to do something similar, looking for the right sort of care, and either going way, way, way too deep in the analytical,
yeah,
or somehow flipping it inside and just feeling awful about their identity and like victimized by um what they're going through,
yeah.
um because you shouldn't have to, and then there's this disconnect and this like depression that comes from that. um Anything that you'd like to respond to that would be great.
Well, I think you're absolutely right, and I've seen it with with people I love, um because and I think that may have influenced how I respond.
Hmm.
Um but I think it's very it can become very overwhelming. You almost go down like a rabbit hole kind of thing. Um and I think the key is to check in with other people around you too,
Mm.
to make sure it's not something you're always doing alone. So bounce ideas off other people, talk to other people, check in with other people, make sure you're also doing self-care, um so that you're not your whole like you can't separate your health from who you are, but it
Mm.
doesn't have to be your entire identity, if that makes
Okay.
sense. Um,
Yeah.
and but there is a grieving process
Yeah.
when you're sick, or and you used to be healthy, or you become disabled, and like there's a life that you thought that you would have, and there's a life that you want, and you're watching other people have it, and there's that, well, I didn't do anything wrong, I wasn't a bad person, why is this happening to me?
Yeah.
So you're constantly having to, and I think just knowing that that's normal to go
Yeah.
through that grieving process, and that, um, and unfortunately, I don't think it's a grieving process that ever goes away, because,
Interesting.
yeah, like I think times get better. Like when I
Mhm.
first had to stop working, there was, I think the grieving process was harder for me. And then when I found out like I shouldn't have children, but so I had to grieve both of those things. But it's different. Like now I'm at the age where my friends are posting pictures on Facebook of their kids, first day of school and Halloween. So it reopens that wound every time.
Definitely. Yeah.
Um, so you're constantly grieving, or people like yesterday, someone, wanted to hang out and have coffee. today with me, and I would love to, but I can't drive. And they can't get to me. So it just reminds me of my isolation. And so
Hmm.
that brings a grief. So it's just constantly how, it doesn't go away, but maybe your ability to work through the mud gets a little bit better.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's interesting, the juxtaposition there. So how do you um let me back up a little bit. A lot of people that are feeling that sort of depression, especially when it has to do with anxiety or identity or, you
Yeah,
know, good enough, this and that, um, they tend not to feel connected enough to people
yeah.
um, to really be able to reach out or trust or have those connections that you referred to. And so, um, as you moved along in what you were sharing, saying it's isolating, I think there's really something there that you could share about how to uh, make connections with others and stay out of um, the isolation that'll keep you going down that slide.
Nate, my co-host, we call it the dark place.
The
We
dark place, yeah.
yeah, we've been friends for about 8 years. And 9 years maybe at this point. And he actually lives out of state. I would say um online has what has kept me being able to not be as isolated. I think that can also be a rabbit hole because sometimes support groups can be you find people that can be very dark, and people will feed off of each other, and it can almost make it worse sometimes. So I
Yes.
kind of like go in for like a minute or two and kind of listen to some things, respond to some things, and then privately message somebody that I liked what they said or something, and then see if they want to keep talking privately and make a friend that way. Um, and so I've
Okay.
actually
Yeah.
made a bunch of friends through support groups through the past 10 years, just doing that. And we're Facebook friends. And so we kind of just check in on each other and things like that. And I also realized I can get in a place. Friendship is a two-way thing. I can
Yes.
lay in my bed and I can get really sad and depressed because of my isolation and the fact that I can't go to social events or I can't do anything unless people help me do it. But people also do have but I also have to be reaching out to them. Like, so, and I found when I do that, I do get a response. It is
Hmm.
physically exhausting though. Like the
Yeah.
problem is it's a marathon. It's not like being chronically ill, or I think like dealing with depression or anxiety. These are things that, mental health is just like diabetes. It's a chemical imbalance. So it's something that's, you deal with your whole life. And you have good days, you have bad days, good years, bad years, and it can wear on you to constantly be putting yourself out there, I think. But if you don't, um no one's going to be reaching out to you. um it's that's Yeah, so I say online, and just even if it's just sending little texts to people here
Mm.
and there. Like
Hmm.
Nate and I will send each other Bitmojis in the morning and throughout the
Oh,
day and
cute.
check on each other. And yeah.
Yeah. Let's stay with Nate for a second. You told me some quote that he had about if you don't do this, like you're not a full human being. Do you know offhand
Oh,
what that was, what that we talked about before? I can look it up
um,
because it was
well, I
fascinating.
think he was basically saying that if you didn't go to the dark place, you wouldn't be human.
Yeah.
Everybody goes to the dark place, and that's okay. It's that we don't want to live there. Yeah. And that's
Yeah.
the struggle, is not living there, but finding something you can focus on that is you're happy, or and and it's also about um maybe changing your idea of what a successful day is,
Mm,
and that can change every day. Like there are some days where all I can do is open my eyes and I'm like, yeah, Christina, you did that today. You go. Um, and then other days I'm like, I know I can get my butt out of the bed. I better get my butt out of bed.
mm.
So um you just I'm no longer like, well, I need to conquer and rule the world and be president, like my vision as a child.
Yeah, yeah. My partner and I have been talking a lot about this particular thing, that we grew up in this era where parents like encourage you could be anything,
You could be
right?
anything you want to be.
Anything
Yeah.
you want. And I'm so excited that I actually found a psychologist that wrote a book about this, but uh, how in certain ways that like can actually mess you up. It's like, okay, I want to do
Very
this, I want to do
dangerous.
that. So first off, help me. And parents can sometimes not help. Um, and then other times, like I want to do everything, help me choose. And um, then you, there's like an inherent feeling of not enough,
Well,
right?
yeah, and also not everybody can do everything, and that's
Yeah,
okay. We
yeah,
are individuals, we are unique. And there's that in the disability community. That's a huge issue in the disability community. I think is we have this, well, with adaptations, with all of these things, we can do anything. And I'm like, no, I cannot work 40 hours a week. I just can't. And
yeah,
I have come to accept that. And I need other people to accept that there are some people that just can't do that. And that's
yeah,
okay. It's not something that is wrong with you. It is also not a fault of society that we just haven't found the right job yet. Like, if you truly let me describe what my health is like, you will understand why I genuinely cannot do 40 hours a week. Because
yeah.
after this interview, I'm going to pass out for the rest of the day and maybe even
Yeah, you
tomorrow.
mentioned that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Um, and we compare ourselves, we're very much in a comparing ourselves to other people. Danger
yeah,
with that. You can be anything you want to be. I think the message shouldn't be you can be anything you want to be, but I will support you like trying for anything that you want, or whatever your dream is. I'm going to help you do it as best we can, like there's a better message there or something, and I'm not wording it right, but
yeah,
um
yeah,
'cause there's also, you also set people up for the huge loss and grieving of, I mean, life happens, and I think a lot of people unfortunately learn that in COVID, but so many in the disability community learn that at other times. You have a plan and the universe craps all over that plan. Um, and you just have to go, okay, I guess
yeah,
this is what we're doing today.
yeah,
Like, yeah,
yeah. And I think the positive vibes only sort of attitude, like, okay, there's great things that came out of positive psychology, but like the Instagram coaches is like way too far. Um, oh yeah.
yeah.
Um,
What's the danger of
to the
Facebook? People only post what they want you to see. So you only see the
yeah.
happy part of their life. You don't see the multi layers of dysfunction that happens off screen.
Yeah, yeah. And then just this deluge of, okay, well, if I'm not being positive, then it's my fault that I'm not getting
Yeah,
somewhere, right? Like I have to be
yeah,
the CEO or the president sort of thing.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Um, so we've been talking about growing up. I think I'm going to um have you talk a little bit about your relationship with your mom. And I know that's going to bring your ex-husband into the mix as well.
Sure.
Um, so yeah, so maybe just sharing a little bit of that arc, what happened to you and is
Um,
happening.
yeah, no, I love my mom. And I think we've had a very unique story.
Yeah.
We were not close when I was younger. Um, and some of that I think comes from my mom. My mom, her father was she came from uh an abusive household.
Mm,
So she has a hard time with closeness, I think,
mm, mm-hmm.
sometimes. And she very much, it was important for her that I have a good relationship with my father because she didn't have a good relationship with her father. So
Yeah.
she very much kind of separated herself from my father and I, um, and kind of watched
Hmm.
from the outskirts.
Like
Um,
like while they were together or after the divorce?
yeah, while they
Both?
were
Yeah.
together. Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
After they divorced, I actually lived with her. And that was for a little bit, and then I lived with him. That was challenging because there's things that are said that can't be
Yeah.
unsaid. Um, uh, that my mom said to me. But now that I've been through my own divorce, I I can't imagine what it would have been like to go through my divorce while raising a child at the same time. Like,
Mm.
the things I said to my dog about her father, like, she would have been so messed up. So I can understand my mom for some of the things she said, and I
Yeah.
forgive. Um,
Yeah.
and she since apologized. So
Amazing.
yeah, she didn't even realize she said so and did some things, probably because she was in that haze of,
Yeah.
just what happens. My husband, when I, um, when I got sick, we were in a state, for his, uh, degree. And then, like, every summer we come home for camp, and he left me at my mom. He asked for a divorce and left me at my mom's. um
So slow down just a moment. You found out that you were sick, and I know you mentioned, oh, you've been, chronically ill for a while, but like
yeah,
a brand new awful diagnosis, and he takes you from Ohio to Virginia, right?
yeah,
And like just leaves you at your mom's house.
yeah. I
Saying, "No,
actually
I'm
also was
done."
in the hospital for a week there once we got there, and he asked for the divorce after I got out of the hospital.
Oh, how kind of him to wait until you got home.
It was yeah, yeah.
I'm so sorry.
It's
Sorry.
okay. I usually tell people I got returned to sender because I have
Oh,
a twisted sense of humor. And that's how I've had to, like, that's helped me. Um, yeah, that was devastating, particularly
yeah.
since that same week that he asked for the divorce, my father broke up with his girlfriend of 13 years, I believe.
Yeah. And you guys were
Um,
close.
yeah, at least on I saw her as like a mother-like figure. I really liked her. She she was smart and opinionated and spoke her mind and very creative. I admired her a lot.
I can see
Um,
those qualities in you too.
oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
I just really admired her, and it hurt to lose her because she wouldn't speak with me after that. Not just because of that, because she was best friends with my husband's mom. So it was just a whole.
Too
So
many
I
co-relationships. Yeah.
so make
Yeah.
yeah, and
Yeah.
then so my dad, he then moved out of town with his new girlfriend. That just a couple months later. So it was just me and mom. Um, and her mother got diagnosed with cancer and moved in with us. So mom was working during the day. She eventually had to leave her job, but it was me and my grandmother kind of trying to take care of each other during the day. And I would message people and try to get like adult babysitters and things like that. And
Yep.
it was really is because I went from having all of my doctors and specialists and
Oh, right.
having an income that I could trust because I had just decided to start applying for disability. So I'd left my job. So I no
Mm,
longer had my income, but I thought I'd have my husband's, until I could figure out, disability and then maybe part-time work or something, you
mm,
know. But I was trying to figure out that next step. I knew I couldn't keep doing what I was doing at the
yeah,
rate I was doing. It was too hard on my body.
yeah.
So I had nothing. I had no money. I had no doctors. I had um I had no supports in town because um I hadn't really lived there as an adult other than when I was dating him. And when I was dating him, all I cared about was dating him. So I wasn't,
Mm.
yeah, it was really, really,
I'm imagining like being back home, but everything around you also reminded you of the person that just left. And you're sick, and you have financial stuff, and now you're going
I
to
never
rebuild
got to
your
say goodbye to
relationship.
my friends. I
Oh,
had all these friends, and I never got to say goodbye to them.
oh my gosh.
Like, had I known I was moving for like the rest of my life, I would have had I would have, I never got to do that.
Wow.
So that was pretty devastating. I'm
Wow.
still in touch with them, but um, yeah,
That's definitely something taken away from you, and like all at the same time,
all
right?
at the same time. And that's when I think that's why I became such a good self advocate is because it was either sink or swim, you
Mm,
know, because my mother is very uncomfortable on the phone. Like
mm,
she doesn't even do it for herself.
mm,
So, the only way I got any resources was picking up the phone myself. So I would be having my convulsions or whatever, and I'd have to get ice on my head. I'd have to lay down. And then when I was feeling better, I'd make a phone call and take some notes. So for a long time, I was just slowly like building up information and stuff. But I
wow.
immediately tried to get back to work because I was like, I have to support myself. And then I
Right.
had to quit the job. Like DARS closed my case. Department of Aging and Rehabilitative Services
Okay.
closed it due to disability, you know. And then
Okay.
I had to go through the disability, case, when you're young, which is I was 31, and I'd still be considered young, but I was young and I'd worked before.
Hmm.
So they're like, well, she should be able to do a job. Um, so you
Because
have to,
nothing changes, right? Ever.
yeah. So you go through like appeal. You have to go, but I found someone to take my case. But yeah, it was yeah,
My my dad applied for disability and was rejected, and so he sent in an appeal.
yeah,
And literally 2 days after he died, I received a letter saying that they just didn't believe he was sick enough to receive disability.
yeah. It's messed up. People think there's so much fraud. We actually did an interview.
Mm,
There is like 1% is fraud. And that isn't even like people that are living. It's people that have died where families are still cashing in checks or other people, you know? So it's
mm.
not that, yeah, there's a lot
Yeah.
of people out there that are, I can't believe,
And like you, right? Like I had to laugh at the ridiculousness of
Yeah.
it. Um,
Did you mail them his death certificate?
no, we ended up
Just
having
like
to
as a big
do,
F you.
right? No, I do remember we had to do something. He was also just finalized divorce.
Okay.
Um, and the the now ex-wife wanted, it was so close to when he passed, that she wanted me to change what was on his death certificate to that he was married, not divorced, so that she could get all of his Social Security because they
Wow.
just got divorced. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway,
Anyway,
how
people suck.
but there's also beautiful things that can
Yeah.
happen around that. Like an uncle of mine, my mom's actual biological brother,
Yeah.
reached out and said, I am willing to be like a surrogate father. Like I wanted to be closer to him. And so that was a really interesting opportunity. Like one of those things where you remember where you were sitting when you had that phone call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do. I think things happen for a reason, even
Yeah.
the crappy stuff, and people are in your life for a reason. Like as much as that the way he left was traumatic,
Yeah.
um, I would never have gone to the places I went to if I didn't know him and had the work and friend experiences that I have. I learned from him because he was such a good teacher.
Mm,
And the dog that I had that I considered a child, Rue, she was, I never would have gotten her because she was in a whole other state.
mm,
Um, so you meet people for a reason, and it's a good thing he left. Do I wish he left in a better way? Yeah. But he couldn't. This he wanted something different. You know, and I need someone that wants me. You
yeah.
know,
Yeah. Yeah.
all of this. Yeah.
Yeah. Can you talk about what finding that is like?
Still working on it. Um, it's unique. I feel too old for the way dating happens these days.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, you don't want
um,
to just swipe left.
no, like like, and I did just realize Bumble actually has videos, but I wish there was like instead of photos and like a paragraph, I wish there were like video introductions.
Hmm.
So like someone could just like for like a minute introduce themselves and tell you a little bit about themselves and why you would want to swipe or not and have a conversation with them, because to me that's a little bit more of an insight into the person.
Yeah.
um
Mannerisms and
and
whatnot. Yeah, yeah.
I'm sick of seeing guys hold a giant fish or show off their muscles. I could care less. I just want a giant nerd, um you know who will sit and hang out with me and watch nerdy things and talk about books and politics and make stupid silly jokes, and but also want to go on adventures. Like I have a
Hmm.
lot of people that are scared to date me because everybody wants to hike or go running or do all these physical things, and they think, oh, she can't do it. And granted, I have not figured out how to yet, but
Hmm.
I maintain if someone is willing to go camping in winter, I will do that. Just hire the dog sled and I am there because I
Oh,
love
fun.
winter. And the dogs could like carry me around, you know. If they're all about exercise, they could just cart me everywhere anyways, because that would be a great exercise. But also, you know, having been married, it is good for couples to have separate things they do separately as well, and not just things where they're completely immersed and up each other's butts all the time. Like,
Yeah.
you know, go do your hike and come back and share. the pictures with me. Tell me all about your adventure. Like that brings me out of the four corners of my isolation in the house. And I would love to support a partner in all the things that make them happy and excited.
Mm,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I had to learn some of that the hard way from my partner because I was one of
yeah,
those people that was just like wanting the sidekick and
yeah.
come with me. Yeah, so COVID helped to give us more independent lives, but yeah, I kind of went kicking and screaming.
And you can have a sidekick,
Yeah,
like,
yeah. But it
but
doesn't have to be all the time,
it doesn't
right?
have to be all the time. And there can be things that like you guys do together. Like I would love someone who loves to cook because I can't cook, but I'd
Mm,
like to try to find things I could do, like maybe try to prep the food, while I'm sitting or something. And I can't always do it because I struggle with my right hand, but it could be entertaining to watch how bad I'm at it. And then, and I don't know. I would like someone who wants to try to help integrate me into their life, that's
mm,
willing to not be scared of that, but
yeah,
also has their own friends. I have my friends, you know, it's
yeah,
that's healthy.
yeah. And I mean, having a partner that is willing to go to those dark places and um, not only for themselves, but to help whomever you decide to partner with to
Yeah,
go to their own dark places and heal those, right? Like that's what people pay me to do, right? To
yeah,
guide them to their dark places and to heal what's there and make all that whole experience more safe. When they could just go date you.
yes, just send them my way. No, it, yeah, you need to go talk about the dark place together, and
Yeah,
someone that's willing to live in life's mess and wade with you, because life is messy. I think people have this unrealistic notion of what a relationship is, what marriage is, what life is. And you know, nobody's perfect. And you have to love somebody including their imperfections. You know, you have to like you have to at least accept you don't want to change somebody. And like because people don't change unless they want to change themselves. That has to be
yeah,
their choice. That's just ridiculous. So but also shit happens, life happens. So and everybody at some point is going to be disabled. We all
yeah,
die. Yeah. We all get sick and die. And there is a point of disability and illness in everybody's life. Mine just happened a little bit sooner. So I need somebody that can understand that. Because it's also like I it's gonna happen to them at some point too, you
yeah,
know? Yeah. And I do
yeah.
see my parents struggle with that, the fear of mortality, the fear of they like they're now starting to experience things I started experiencing in my 20s,
Oh my
and
gosh.
other people have a hard time with that. And you know it's just life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think I told you my mom had a stroke in 2019,
Yeah,
and still struggles with incontinence, even though like
yeah.
she can walk with a walker, is out of a wheelchair and whatnot, um, and no longer has her catheter. Something I've always um, I was shocked by as far as my mom and been really impressed with is her comfort level with what's happening to her body and just like her ability to talk about like, oh, I pooped
That's
myself
just
today and just like move on. Yeah, I had to clean it up, blah 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 blah.
that's
um
amazing.
Takes away so much of the weight and the like, oh my God, from me, and I'm assuming other people that she talks to, right? But um someone's comfort with themselves absolutely changes how everyone else around them feels and then responds to them. Um, and I can imagine a lot of people around you having that same experience, like being really um, comfortable connecting with you because you're not in denial, you're not like living in some fantasy bullshit land. You're willing to go to those dark places, you know.
Thank you.
And it's so refreshing. Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you. I think, well, I also try to think of what it's like for people that are around me,
Mm.
because
But not in a way that you're rescuing them, you know?
no, but more, I want people to feel comfortable asking questions,
Mm.
because then they're more comfortable. Then I get more interaction with people, and I'm an extrovert. So, and
Mm.
I also know some of these things can be scary, like when it looks like a stroke, and then you're responsible for somebody. That's, that can be scary. So yeah, so I just, and I told my poor dog, he's older, and he has started peeing and having some incontinence, and he sneezed the other day and peed on my mom's bed, and then just had this look and started shaking because he thought he was going to
Oh,
get in trouble. So I
yeah.
just hugged him and reassured him, and I said, "Look, mommy pees herself all the time, you know?" And and we're all like, everybody pees, and then I said, and everybody poops. It's
Yeah.
okay. Like, I've decided I'm gonna write a book, everybody sharts, you know because kids get their own little book, like, but it happens, right? And we
Yeah.
need to talk
Yeah.
about these things. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, when it's written, you have to come back on the podcast and
Come
we'll
back,
promote it.
promote everybody sharts. Now I
Yeah.
have to write that book.
Yeah.
Adventures in the bathrooms.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Right. Um, yeah, you have a unique experience that I've also had, and being in the mental health field, I kind of feel guilty about. Um, I know I'm leading with a lot of mystery, right?
No, that's
So,
good. I think I know where you're going.
okay. Um, uh, my mom has apologized for things between us, and it's an amazing experience, right? And so many adult children of dysfunctional families, let's just leave it broad, um, can spend their whole lives uh, longing for something like a genuine apology. Doesn't
Yeah.
necessarily fix everything, etc. But just as we were discussing some of the things that just happened, it strikes me that going to those dark places, having the willingness to risk um, like breaking the relationship rules, right? With a confrontation or with that sort of honesty, or okay, this is what's really going on. I mean, it's so risky because you can then uh I don't know, be punished, like don't talk to me that way, or shamed, right? Like all of that, risk losing the relationship at all. Um, so I guess all of that to say, um, what led up to you and your mom having that conversation where she apologized for whatever it was that was between you?
I think I just told her what had happened. We've been having a lot of, when he left me here, my ex-husband, it very much, and then dad left town, and grandma died, it very much became us against the world kind of
Mm,
thing, you
hmm.
know? Um, and that's how it felt. It felt us against the world. And um my mom and I have a complex relationship, but we've been really trying since then. she does therapy, I do therapy. We've talked about doing therapy together too, but I've always um I really have been just trying to have honest conversations with her. I lose my temper sometimes, and that's something I'm working on. I very much get that from my dad's side of the family. Um, my dad and my granny are very feisty people. Um, but I think I told her because I needed her, and I needed to hear that. I needed her to know that that had happened.
Mhm.
And sometimes I have to remind her because she is struggling with her memory. Um, and and with that, she can go to a place of saying some things, and I will have to check back in and have a
Mhm.
conversation. So that's kind of what we're always doing, is just checking in with each other, and she'll tell me things that are hurting her, and I'll tell her. I think it makes it challenging that I have to live with her right now. Our
Sure.
relationship has always been healthier when I don't live with her. When I got disability, I found an apartment that was accessible, that was low income. It wasn't income based, but it was low income. And I negotiated a lower rate with the
Mm.
owners of the building. And I was able to move in almost immediately after getting disability. And I
Nice.
lived there for about seven, 7.5, 8 years. But then they got new owner, they sold the building. Um, and they were going to knock the rate up to actually more than what I even get once a month for disability. So that
Wow.
was not, so I really tried to avoid going back to my mom's, because I just didn't think it was healthy for us,
Mm.
because she's got her own health stuff. And just um I'm also 41, and I was thinking it's just healthier to have a place that I live. So I crashed on a friend's sofa for a little while, and then but then ultimately I moved back in with her, and I'm here while I'm exploring kind of the next place that I'm going to go, like looking at HUD applications and things
Mm.
like that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. When we first spoke, you said that your relationship with her is completely different than it was during the challenging years, like that you guys are much closer. Could you just share a little bit about that?
Oh
What is it
yeah.
like now?
Like um well, we're friends now.
Mm.
Um, we didn't used to be friends. Like now, like last we've both been sick for the past 2 weeks, and
Mm.
uh we'll just hang out in one of our rooms and stream movies on Netflix or something, and have some popcorn or something and hang out, and all the fur babies will hang out, so it's like a whole family bonding, and that's
Yeah.
nice. I like that. And you know yeah, it's nice to have her kind of as a friend.
Yeah, it sounds like togetherness, um, almost beyond like us against the world, like it was
Yeah,
at first. Yeah,
like
that's amazing.
like I family is very, despite having a dysfunctional family growing up, and then like family, I think maybe even more because of that, family's everything to me. And
Mm.
I've learned family isn't always biological.
Hmm.
It's the family you choose, and my mom has now become the family I choose. And so I it's important that we for me that we work through those things, because it she was really important to me.
Yeah,
I yeah.
that's awesome. So, Christina, if anybody would like to get in touch with you, check out the podcast, Speaking in Spoons, how should they find you or reach out?
Well, you can visit our website. It's www.speakinginspoons.com. and we have our season schedule on there, and also the email, which is speakinginspoons@gmail.com, and that will go directly to me, actually. So you can reach me that way, and we stream on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts.
Nice, nice. Like live streams too, right?
Not live streams.
Okay. I'm like, I'll
Yeah.
get there too. Soon, soon.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I really appreciate you reaching out and giving us so much of your energy today. I know that it might be all of the spoons that you had today, and I just want to say thank you.
Thank you for having me. This was a treat, and it's been nice getting to know you.
You too. You too. Thanks, Christina.
Thank you.